Hey guys, it's Torbix here. So last Sunday I went to the War Child concert, you know, the Brit show, and it was an amazing thing. I saw, like, Dry the River. If you haven't heard of Dry the River, go and check Dry the River out. Ed Sheeran, Damon Albarn and Graham Coxon, I swear I saw most of my idols there. It was just so amazing. But anyway, seeing Dry the River, you know, a band, I started to miss being in a band myself, because I used to be in a band. I just wanted to talk about the pros and cons of being a solo musician and being in a band. Yeah, that's kind of what this vlog's going to be about. I guess being in a band, I mean, you've always got that positive of, you know, working with other people. You get a whole wealth of creativity from many people. When you're a solo musician, it's just you, yourself. You know, being in a band, you know, you've got those sorts of things on stage. You don't have to fill up a whole stage by yourself. And for me, that's kind of a problem, filling up a whole stage by myself on my own. Because I don't have very great stage presence, really. That's why I don't do very many live shows. You get in a band, this kind of family thing, you know, you may have your arguments, but you're there together. It's all about teamwork, and teamwork is sort of something amazing that we don't see very often, in my opinion. Being in a band, you get all the different talents, so like, a great vocalist, you have the guitarists, the bass player, drummer, violin maybe. Dry the River has a violin, that was pretty amazing. Nor, you need to do that. Because I know you can play the piano, and I know you can play the violin. You know, maybe me and you should join back together as a band, because that was something good. I mean, being in a band has its weaknesses too. I know from experience that even the smallest arguments can just create whole escalation that just completely destroys your band. Like this one time we had an argument about fusion. I was like, you can't really do an indie metal fusion. And it created this huge argument which just ended up, you know, he did this reggae metal fusion to say that, yes, you can do a fusion of anything, and the metal reggae fusion was amazing. I didn't tell him that. Well, now you know. It was an amazing thing that you did there. We never performed together since then, really. We didn't even practice together. We just stopped from then. Fight with each other, and then you don't work well together, and that causes problems. Those are kind of the cons of being in a band, I think. I don't know, what do you guys think? And with being a solo musician, I mean, if you look at people like Ed Sheeran, for example, you know, the guy can create a whole song with just him and his guitar. It's just so amazing what one person can do on their own. And that's sort of what being a solo musician is about. What you can do by yourself. And with that, you don't have to rely on other people. You don't have to rely on them to be there for practice. If everyone, you know, if you're ill, you're ill. You can't do anything. But if you're in a band and one person is ill and you have nobody to replace them, then that's everyone screwed up because one person can't perform. Then also, being on your own, it's yours. Every piece of music is yours. You know, I know compromise is a good thing, but you don't have to compromise your art because your band member doesn't agree, or, you know, those sorts of things. Doing both myself, I'd say being a solo musician is so hard when you can't play an instrument, because I can't play an instrument. Well, I can play keyboard a little bit, not enough to play live, but playing on your own is just so difficult when you can't play an instrument, because you have to get backing tracks or record those sorts of things beforehand on your computer, and it takes away from your performance if you've got that thing in the background. There's no live band, it's just you on the stage. It's kind of boring and all that sort of stuff. The cons. Well, the cons of being a solo musician is you can't create things that are as complex sometimes. Like, for example, if you're doing a live show and you don't have a loop pedal, you can't harmonise with yourself. You can't create multi-layer pieces where you have like the drums, the guitar, the bass, and all that sort of stuff. And you just have yourself, whatever you've come with. If you play an instrument, your instrument. If you've got a backing track, your backing track. The problem with having a backing track is, say you want to improvise a bit, you know, with a band or with your own instrument, you can improvise. But without that, you can't really improvise because, well, the backing track is going to continue going on if you stop. So you know, you can't say, oh, okay, this is the bit where we're going to sing this bit over and over again or something like that, because, well, the song isn't going to do that for you. You would need somebody to actually be playing those instruments for you. And if you don't play an instrument like I don't, which I should do, that's kind of what happens. Another con with solo musicians is it's lonely. You know, I find music is a very sort of group thing. Being alone while making music. You just got you and yourself. I just want to ask all you guys out there, because I'm not really sure and I don't know what to do at the moment. Do you think it's better being in a band or being a solo musician? And if you're not a musician, well, do you prefer listening to bands or solo musicians? Because some people actually don't like listening to bands, and some people actually will only listen to bands, groups of people. Anyway, guys, I've got stuff to do, but before I go, I just want to plug all the things that I'm doing. I'm going to put the links to everything that I do down in the underbar, you know, down there somewhere, because I know some of you are interested in, you know, business and magazines and music and charity and all those sorts of things, because I do all of those sorts of things. So, first of all, the challenge is down there. If you're finishing year 11, you live in England. I'm not exactly sure where in England that they do it. I know they do it in London. There's a couple of places outside London. Down there, you got the challenge, just so you can see what it's about. It's like a 3-week course, and then afterwards I'm doing this thing where I'm working on a charity event, and they do all these different charity events, which is amazing. I think what they do is amazing. Then I've got Fresh Young Millionaire down there, which is a magazine that I'm sort of working with. The articles up there already that I've written and other people have written. I think it'd be interesting to check it out, and they've got a Twitter page and everything, but if you go onto their website, that will all be there. As well as that, Talk Safe. It's a charity that's about, you know, talking to young people. If you guys don't have any problems, if you want to tell me about your problems, you can email them to me, because, well, I'm all for helping other people. Oh, and then obviously you got my Facebook, my YouTube, my Twitter, my SoundCloud, because I do all that stuff. I don't really tweet much, but, you know, if I get more followers, maybe I will tweet. Thanks for listening to this. I don't know if I've really said anything useful. So, yeah, everyone have a good day, have a good evening, wherever you live. Oh, yeah, and if you guys want to challenge me still, I will do those. Oh, and check out Dry the River. Anyway, Tourpix out.
So Topic 5 new and upgraded, everybody knows that I'ma be the greatest. So now my video is over, subscribe like a fast ticket holder, comment and I will talk back, rate yes I mean thumb that. Just to reiterate, uses Topic 5, everybody comment, rate and subscribe.
Game which you just lost. Great.